All right, everyone. This is Mr. Laird. For those of you who do not know me, I am an American government teacher at Shawnee Mission East High School. Some of you have had me, some of you have not. But I was going to take the time to show all of you a couple key points for getting registered to vote in Kansas and figuring out where you're going to vote on Election Day. So the first place you want to do, if you're not registered, is you're going to go to votekansas.org. Voteks.org. When you're here, you are going to want to come and you're going to want to click on Before You Vote. And this is going to give you some information. It's going to give you some qualifications. Be a resident of Kansas, be 18 years of older. It's going to tell you some things that allow you to vote in Kansas, and it's also going to tell you some things that would disqualify you. So you want to check this out first. Make sure you're registered, or make sure you're eligible to register to vote. Once you do that, you're going to want to go to How Do I Register? And this page is going to give you two options to register to vote in Kansas. The first one is obtain a Kansas voter registration application. This is going to be a paper process. You can do that by either printing off the PDF on this page, or you can go to the DMV, County Elections Office, and register to vote there. So you can do it in person by paper, or you can do it online. Now, the requirement to do it online is you must have either a Kansas state ID or a driver's license, because it's going to need to verify that through the number assigned to that. But if you can do that, and it's the much easier process, you're just going to want to click Online Voter Registration. Here, it's going to walk you through the process of registering to vote online. Now, I'm not going to walk through it with you because it has me fill out my address and things like that, and I'm already registered to vote. That's actually the first thing I did the morning of my 18th birthday. I went to my county elections office and registered to vote. But you'll walk through this process. Again, make sure you have that either state ID or driver's license, because it's a required process for this. You no longer need your birth certificate. In Kansas, you used to have to show proof of citizenship, but that is no longer in effect. So you don't have to do that. So this process is easy, and it'll go right through as long as you have that driver's license or state ID. So the first process is actually getting registered to vote. Now, once you go there, you're going to want to go to the website that the Secretary of State office has set up, and that's myvoteinfo.voteks.org. And this is going to give you an option to figure out a few different things. So, first, it's going to allow you to see if you indeed are registered to vote. In Kansas, we have a voter registration deadline before elections. So what that means is in Kansas, you can't show up to your polling place, the place you vote, and register day of the election. There's a cutoff in the state of Kansas. So as that cutoff approaches, and maybe you and your friends want to make sure you're registered to vote, everything's in the system, because if you're not in the system, you can't vote. So you would go here to registration information. And you would fill this out. It's very simple. You pick the county you're registered in. So let's say ours is Johnson County. Everyone living here going to Shawnee Mission East is in Johnson County. You'd put Johnson. You'd put your first and last name and your birthday information. Now, a key piece here is, let's say you go to KU. That's not Johnson County. You would still put Johnson County because that's the county you registered in. That's where your address is. Your dorm room or temporary residence in Lawrence is not your address. It's your permanent address. So you'll put that in here, and it'll tell you not only if you are registered or not, what political party you're registered to. In Kansas, that's either independent or unaffiliated, Democrat, Republican, or Libertarian. Those are the four options you can register as in Kansas. Now, it'll also tell you when you voted in the past. So it'll list all the different years you voted in and for what elections in the past. So if you're wondering, hey, did I vote in that primary or did I vote in that election? It will tell you that information. It won't tell you who you voted for. That's private, that's on a secret ballot. But it will tell you whether you voted or not, and whether you did it at your polling place or in person or via absentee ballot. So that's to check if you're registered. Now, the next one is, where do you vote? That's kind of important. We need to know that because in Kansas, unlike a state like California, where my wife is from, they send out a mailing ballot in Colorado and California and Washington's other states to everyone who's registered to vote. They send you the ballot in the mail. You have to fill it out, sign it, and then have a witness sign it, and you mail it back. Now, some states are considering that with this whole COVID-19 pandemic crisis going on right now. By the time we vote in November, maybe Kansas transitions to that, but right now that is not the case. Unless you fill out an absentee ballot, which I'm going to show you in a little bit, you have to either vote early in person or you have to vote at your polling place in person. So you need to know where to go because it's not wherever you want. You're sent to a specific place. Like for us, it's a church near our house. So I'll explain how you figure this out. So first, same thing, county. I'm registered in Johnson County. That's where I live. So I'm going to fill that out. However, I'm not going to show you my information because this shows the political party that I am affiliated with. And I'm not comfortable showing that to you. Not that I don't want people to know, but I think as an educator, it's not appropriate for me to tell you whether I'm unaffiliated, libertarian, Republican, Democrat. I'm in a position of influence, and I don't think it's my role to expose you guys to that influence in any way, shape, or form. I pride myself on not showing that bias in the classroom, and I want to continue that here. So you'll put in your first and last name. That's my wife's first and last name. Date of birth. She's actually younger than me, so she should feel proud about that. And you will click search. Now, the reason I zoomed to the bottom is because that's going to give our address at the very top, and I don't want to put that out there on this video. But this is going to show you some information. The two key pieces I'm going to show you here, though. So at the very bottom, it's going to show everything you vote for in Kansas. So it may not be for every election, but this is going to give the specific ones of who you're going to vote for. So it tells me who my state Board of Education is. Now, there's a lot of state Board of Educations, or there's a lot of seats on the state board, rather. You don't vote for every single one of them. You vote for the one you live in. Same thing with state senate and state representative, county boards, city boards, things like that. So this is going to give you all the different positions you vote for. Now, it's not going to give you the people. It's just going to give you the positions. So this is an important thing to look at so you know who you're voting for or what you're voting for. We'll get to who in a little bit. The next one, it's going to show you your default polling place details. So this is the place you are going to go to vote. This is the place you have to go to vote. And unless you request an absentee ballot, which they'll send you in the mail, or you vote early in person. I'll get to those specifics in just a second. But for us, me and my wife, the only place we can vote on the day of the election is at the church that lists here. So we have to show up in person on election day to vote at this place. And it gives the address, and it also gives some nice information. Like this says, you enter through the north doors on the back. You don't go into the main church. They actually do it in the gymnasium they have in the basement of the church. So that gives you some information there. It's very helpful. So this is going to tell you where you vote. Now, the last thing I want to show you, because a lot of you are going to be going off to college. Now, there's going to be specific rules in the state you live in. I know, for instance, if you were going to school in New Hampshire, they used to let students who are from out of state vote in that state. You just had to go register as a New Hampshire voter as long as you had some residence there, temporary or not. You just had to prove you were a college student. They're changing that in that state, but some other states may have similar rules like that. So the first thing you always want to check if you're going to an out-of-state school or you're moving is what your state rules are, because this is just going to be for Kansas. But let's say you go to school in Kansas and you go to Wichita State, or you go to K-State, or you go to a community college that's pretty far off, maybe Cloud Community College or something for even further, Neosho or whatever, and you don't want to drive all the way back, several hours and back just to vote. Well, in Kansas, you can request an absentee ballot. That means they'll send you an advance ballot. You can vote it and send it in. And that's what you're going to fill out here. So you'd fill out this information. It'll let you know if you qualify, and you'll get started on that process. So if you don't want to drive a long distance, you want to make sure you get a vote, though, you'll want to make sure you fill this out. Now, just with registration, there are deadlines. So you're going to want to look into the deadline of when you would have to request that ballot, because you can't do it the day of or the day before the election. So you want to make sure you get on top of that, this summer before you get bogged down with college, things like that. That'd be a great way to do it. Now, again, some states, they send them out. We do not. So you got to make sure you go through this process. The last thing I want to show you is going to be who exactly you're going to be voting for. And to do that, you can go to Ballotpedia and then Kansas Sample Ballot. The URL is right there. It doesn't have anything right now because the Kansas ballot isn't finalized yet. But if you go here a month or two before the election, after all the primaries have happened, it's been settled who's running, who's going to be on the ballot, they will actually have a sample ballot. So you'll be able to look at what the ballot looks like you're going to be voting for. So it's going to show you who's running, not just the positions like I showed you on the Vote KS website a little bit ago. This is going to show you specifically who's running for what, so you can do your research and you can figure out, okay, this is who I'm going to vote for, so you're not in a panic when you're at the actual voting location trying to figure that all out. But with all these different websites, this information is going to help you become a registered voter who can vote on election day or early, and who you can vote for, so you can make educated decisions. Because it is the foundation of our democracy that we go out, we register to vote, and we participate in the voting process. Because it is not only our way of giving a say in what happens, but it is a right afforded to us that so many people in this world do not have. Hopefully this helps you guys. Have a great summer. Have a great life. I love all of you. If you ever need anything, don't hesitate to reach out, even if I've never had you. Stay safe, everyone, and remember, it's always great to be a Lancer. Congratulations, class of 2020. I'm so proud of all of you.